go. Okay. So have you got, I think you should have the power to share screen. Do I need to hand it over to you?
No, I've got the power. Shall I go for it?
Go for it.
All right. So can you see my big blue screen?
We can. Wonderful. Thank you.
All right, fab. So today I'm going to talk to you about sales confidence and your potential. Carol, I have a feeling you may have seen this before in the business lounge, but no harm in a bit of repetition, hopefully. So as I said a minute ago, I'm Enfys and I run Sales Training with Enfys, which is I provide sales training designed for small business owners and help ambitious entrepreneurs make more sales. So this is about me in a nutshell with some tips, and please do use the chat, get involved. If you want to unmute yourself and say something, like discussion is just how it is the best, isn't it? So we'll go through it and just say whatever you like. Let me see. Yeah. All right. So selling and sales. So one thing all business owners have in common is the fact that we just have to make sales. You know, we have to be able to sell our brand, our vision, our ideas, and ultimately our product and our service in order to sustain the business. And without sales, there is just no business. There's no growth, no success, and no opportunity. So, but just because we have to do something doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy, and selling can be incredibly daunting. It can feel like an enormous mountain that you need to climb, especially if you've got big goals and big aspirations, or saying that you feel in yourself that you've got a huge amount of potential, but you're frustrated because you don't know how to reach it. You know, and selling, I put in one of my posts earlier, you know, like selling well and making sales is the key to unlocking the door to your business dreams. Like it really is the facilitator to get you from where you are to where you want to be, but it can be really, really daunting, and all entrepreneurs and business owners will struggle and find it hard at times, especially if you're growing or scaling your business, because the opportunities that you're trying to bring on are always going to be that incrementally bigger task than they were before. If you're plateauing and happy ticking over and happy doing just ticking along and doing the same amount of sales to a similar type of thing, then obviously it is not as daunting. But if you're reaching and striving, it can feel like a big task, basically. But just because it's difficult doesn't mean that it can't be done, and we can all gain sales self-confidence. We can upskill ourselves and we can create clarity around the topic. And, you know, by learning to sell well and continuing to improve our sales skills will empower us to bring on the business that we want. So let me give you some ideas during this talk. Get a pen and paper, get involved, say something. You know, it's always a bit weird me talking by myself, looking at my own face in the screen. But so do say what you like. I can't see the comments, but I'll stop and look in a minute. And then, yeah, there will be time for discussion and questions at the end, if not during. So people come to me because they're feeling frustrated for whatever reason. It's a huge range, but some of the most common sales struggles are based in fear. You know, the fear of doing it wrong really holds people back. You know, when we get opportunities to sell, it can be really daunting, because you're like, oh my God, what if I don't get it? But what if I do? You know, and then there's all this expectation, like, what if you know, then you've got this responsibility to deliver these big promises to your clients. It can be really daunting. Fear of rejection is also a big one, I think, because, you know, to sell and put yourself out there is to be vulnerable in business, and it's scary, frankly. You know, being visible, putting yourself out there and up for rejection again and again and again, it can hurt, but we can prepare for that, and we can build on resilience, and we can armor ourselves for whatever eventuality, and make rejection like on the lower side of the scale, and that we up the conversion. But a major one also is the fear of feeling pushy. Like, and put in the comments, do any of these resonate? Does anybody feel like you know, that fear of appearing pushy like holds them back from even asking, do you want this? You know, which is not a question that you should ever ask, but there's a way to do it that can strip out all that pushiness and all that discomfort, you know, and if we're uncomfortable, of course it feels uncomfortable, you know. It's probably like Carol, you would say with clothes, if you're wearing uncomfortable clothes, then you're going to be uncomfortable, you know. And so, you know, we need to dress in I don't know, in sales skills, I guess. That's a funny analogy. Anyway, you know, we're also feeling uncertain and doubtful of our sales skills comes because we don't know how to hold effective conversations. We're all really brilliant at talking, you know, that's not the problem, but we're trying, when it comes to selling, we're trying to move forward, we're trying to progress with the buying journey or the sale. And, you know, you start in the conversation and you want to come to a point of action at the end of the conversation, and leading those conversations smoothly and without being clunky takes an enormous amount of skill, frankly, and it takes practice. And, you know, it doesn't happen by accident. You know, the top sellers that you see around you, they've invested in their sales skills. They're preparing themselves for these difficult calls. And, you know, a lot of people are guilty for waiting for the sales cliff edge, but actually selling isn't something that happens at the end of a particular conversation at a particular time. It happens, it's woven through the fabric of your language throughout the whole experience of working with you. Your conversational skills are important, and upskilling yourself can really help that. You know, sales struggles also, you know, and Sarah will be more effective about this, but how to word effective emails, you know, and how to allow your marketing to help you in then selling them. In they're two sides of the same coin, really. But anyway, yeah, a reluctance to reach out and following up is a major one. We're all guilty of having opportunities just everywhere and just not being like reaching out and asking, like inviting the business or following up on conversations. It's kind of it can be quite damaging to our confidence because we're left waiting, and being reactive means that it's quite disempowering to be reactive, waiting for somebody to come back to us. Like it makes us feel much better if we're in control and being proactive in our approach. Equally, not wanting to be judged is pretty massive. You know, we don't want to seem like a salesperson because the connotations of what being a salesperson is quite negative. You know, like put in the comments, like what negative associations have you got with being a salesperson? Because to me, I think a great salesperson is when you come off a call and you've just spent thousands of pounds and you're like, I didn't feel sold to at all, but ultimately a decision was made, a transaction was made, and both parties come away delighted, you know. And it's so nice, and I'll go on to that in a minute, like when you're sold too well and that relationship has a place to foster, you know, it creates like brand loyalty and repeat business and referrals, and to do it well is great. And to do it badly, you know, we only recognize the bad salespeople or the salesy people because they make themselves known really like clunkily. But you know, you can avoid all that by preparation, basically. So yeah, we'll hopefully have time to discuss your current headaches in a minute, and I think I'm already well over how much time I was meant to be going on. So, you know, let's start at the beginning. So you have a vision, you know, and your ideas are really, really precious. You know, your aspirations and your vision for your business and your goals are a bit like a candle flame. You know, they spring up and you're like, oh, could I possibly? And then we're so guilty of blowing out our own candle. Like, oh no, I couldn't possibly. Oh no, I hate sales. Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. You know, but you know, we shouldn't be blowing out our own candles. It's really important. You're clearly, I mean, we're all ambitious women in business here. That's why we started our businesses. We know that we can make a success of it. So take a minute, and if you want to put them in the comments, please do. I might pause it to have a look at the comments. Like, what are your goals for the next 6 to 12 months? You know, because the reason I ask that is because if you know where you're aiming for, you don't have to worry about how you're going to do it. You know, if you know where you want to get to, you can work backwards and create a sales strategy in order to get you there. Like, that comes secondary. Knowing where you want to go, what's the destination, is the important bit. And then you make a map, you know, you make a roadmap of how to get there. But if you don't know where you're going and you don't know what you're aiming towards, you can feel like you're drifting around in business and getting a bit lost and overwhelmed, and that can be, yeah, it's just a difficult place to be, you know, because yeah, it can be a bit lonely and, you know, yeah, just overwhelming it. So knowing what you want, you know, within what are your business goals, and then work backwards to create a sales strategy in order to get you to that destination is really, really powerful and you know, effective. So I don't know how to stop sharing. I'll come back to the comments, we can discuss later. So as I've just said, your ideas are really, really precious, and to sell well starts within, because how you talk to yourself about your business, your ideas, your goals, and how you approach selling is really important, because you listen to yourself more than anybody else, you know. And in order to sell outwardly, you need to believe in what you're offering. That inner confidence will make business development a lot easier if you truly believe in your ideas and your ability to bring on business. Yeah, so your potential in business is totally limitless. Like, it truly is. Like, you can achieve as much as you like, you know, and your sales skills will take you there. But there are some reminders here, you know, like, we sometimes forget that our clients are looking for us. They want to buy from us, and it is amazing how difficult we make it for them sometimes, you know, like, you know, and inadvertently, by not following up, sometimes you can feel like, oh, maybe they don't want me as a customer. You know, I spoke to somebody recently, and she was like, oh yeah, I don't follow up on the ones I don't want to work with. You know, like, what kind of message does that give to our clients? It's just food for thought. And anyway, in order to best serve our clients, we absolutely need to know them. We need to give ourselves an opportunity to talk to them, get to know them, understand their needs. You know, we absolutely shouldn't be providing a solution before we understand what their problem is. You know, so in order to understand what we're going to help with, like, what are their problems? You know, I wouldn't, you know, sometimes people come to me for sales training and we have a conversation. I'm not the person you're looking for, you know. So, you know, that happens when people are looking for e-commerce sales help, because that's just, I don't like tech. It's not my area. But, you know, you need to give your clients the opportunity to know you, and you need to know them in order to best serve them. And that comes by relationship building, and that comes from making phone calls and, you know, actually speaking to your potential prospects. So if you're nervous about being on the phone, prepare your calls. You know, what do you want to say? And then how do you want to say it? You know what you want to say, and then work out how you're going to say it after. Always lead the process, because confidence attracts clients. You know, if you know what you're doing, your clients will buy into you. Another real tip actually is to make a list of the objections you face. And we're going to cover this a little bit in a minute, because some objections might be, or the most common is, it's too expensive, I can't afford it, it's not right for now. But actually what they might be saying, you know, objections are often disguised as, you know, when your clients might be saying, I don't understand the value, I don't understand why that is useful to me, please help me to understand why you think my business needs that. How, you know, like, people are saying, or they're saying it's not the right time. It's like, well, what are they waiting for? You know, what's the magic thing? You know, and also, like, what is the cost of the inaction? Like, what's going to happen if you don't invest in your health? You know, what's going to happen if you don't change how you feel about your look? You know, there's a cost to inaction in the same way as there's a cost or a charge for your service. And it's really important that we're able to showcase that. Follow up when you promised. If you don't know when you're supposed to follow up, plan, tell them when you're going to follow up, prepare for it. You know, when you're on the call, don't be like, I'm going to send you a proposal, okay, bye. I'm going to send you a proposal and I'm going to follow up with you in a few days. Is that okay? Yes, brilliant. Put it in the diary. Then you know, and then you can follow up. Never be pushy, always be inviting, and make it really enjoyable and easy to work with you and to buy from you, and then ask for referrals, because happy clients love to tell you that you're brilliant, and they love to share, and that will be a lead generation strategy in itself. And it validates everything you say and do, right? If you get lovely, I live for testimonials. I'm just like, people are so happy. That makes me happy. And for me, success is fulfillment in knowing that others are reaching whatever they want out of life, you know. Anyway, the benefits of selling well. And I think sometimes we forget that there are lots of benefits to selling, you know, and we think of it as so negative, and it's like, oh, I'll do that later, I don't like it, it's not something I want to do. But actually, if you shine light on it and think, actually, what is the point of this, you know, like, why should I? Then if you can see the benefits of it, you're more likely of engaging with it and starting to enjoy it, and starting to realize that actually you can do it and it's wonderful. So anyway, here's my list. So selling well, or the benefits of selling, is first and foremost is that you bring a huge amount of joy and relief to your clients. You know that feeling where you've been shopping around forever, you're really disgruntled. This is you as the client now. You're like overwhelmed. You don't know where to go and get your new kitchen, for instance. You don't know where to go. There's so many decisions. It's just overwhelming, but you need a new kitchen. And then you go to a small business and they're like, this is the kitchen for you. And you're like, oh, relief. Instantly, I can move on with my life. I can trust you. I like you. You understand me. And that shopping around ends, and you're, as the client, confident that you've made that decision. And that's how your clients feel when they find you, you know, like we can't deny them that opportunity to work with us by just resisting selling to them. Anyway, opportunities bring opportunities too. Also brings you more money, more profit, more income, which allows you to do whatever you want to do. Increases your sales conversion, obviously. If you sell well, it gives you a clear understanding of your customers' needs. So rather than being like, some people are guilty. I know a lot of people are guilty, because I went before I don't know, about 6 months ago, I was shopping around for something. Now on LinkedIn, I was like, can you do this? And people are like, yes, here's the price. I'm like, ugh, what, talk to me. Be like, no, don't be an order taker. Don't just be like, yes, here's the solution. Like, what's my actual problem? Be like, right, let's discuss that. I can help, but I'm not sure how. Let's speak. And then give yourself an opportunity to get to know your clients. And if you get to know your clients, they're buying into you. If you're just being an order taker and being like, yes, this is the price, do you want it? Then they've probably done that with like 10 other suppliers, and they're going to buy with the person that makes them feel most valued. It also makes a clear pathway to invite repeat business, which I've just said. Increase your referral rates. Gives you more efficiency in business, because you're not just churning out loads of quotes. You're actually just you're just quoting the ones that are truly your ideal to your ideal clients. And that feeling of being empowered and feeling in control of your business, and that inner confidence in yourself and in your business, it just makes you feel good, makes you feel like you can do it. And when you don't feel like you can do it, and when you're feeling overwhelmed, that's when negativity and uncertainty and overwhelm creeps in. So it's really important that we sit the other side of the fence and be in a position of feeling like in control, and because that's when we can ultimately help and serve most of our clients and move forward. Stop speaking. So the breakout question would have been, what might be the dangers of discounting? So if you've got objections coming up, like if they say, oh, it's too expensive, or not for now, or well, whatever your objection, there's zillions of objections. Let's have a think about what your objection might be. And then, if your first response would be like, oh, it's half price, oh, it's discounted, oh, I'll give you 20% off. Like, what might be the dangers of doing that too often? And strategically, it's good sometimes. I'm not gonna say it isn't, but what are the dangers of discounting? Cover that in a minute. Thank you for listening. And yeah, my call to action is to find me in the business lounge, because that's where I'm hanging out, talking non-stop about everything. And yeah, it's just a nice group of business owners. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to stop sharing. Oh God, you're going to see all my tabs. Yeah. I feel like I spoke at the speed of light trying to do that in 10 minutes. It wasn't 10 minutes at all, was it?
Absolutely fine. We've got plenty of time now to have a chat. Do you want to go through just go through the chat and see if there's any questions or comments there that you want to speak to?
Yeah. Fab, if we've got time, that'll be fab. So Sarah, yours was the first comment. Closing the sale is what I'm not so good at. Okay. Why is that? What do you find difficult about that?
Just feels icky, doesn't it? Just feels a bit, yeah. And I know it's probably just a simple question, but yeah, it's knowing what that question is.
Yeah. So for me, an effective close starts right at the beginning, you know, so rather than waiting all this time until the end to be like, do you want something? Like, weave it in from the beginning. So and it's a big topic to cover in like this 1 second, but like I say now, if I thought I was talking to a customer who was ultimately going to say it's too expensive or that it's not the right time, I would preempt all the objections right at the beginning and be like I work with customers, I set a budget as well, like this is probably how much it's going to cost. Does that sound viable? What's your timeline? What's your time frame? If we were to do it this time, does that sound suitable to you? Like, get miniature yeses along the way, and there's no need to get the huge one at the end, which is a really scary, big, daunting, like cliff edge that is daunting for everybody, because not even your client knows the answer because they've not been weaved into the process along the way.
Yeah, some things I can, like if I've got a discovery call for someone's interested in Facebook ads, I have a whole list of things because it's really important. There's so many things that if they have not got in place, I can't work with them, and they shouldn't be doing Facebook ads. And I think that leads quite nicely into it, you know, should we get started?
Yeah.
But it's kind of my smaller products that I probably have more problems with, but maybe I should do a similar thing, like write down some questions that might come up.
Yeah, so I would say figure out exactly the moment that you're uncomfortable with, and then prepare some lines for yourself to help you going forward and get you out of any sticky spot. Because if you don't know what to say repeatedly, then armor yourself with knowing what to say.
Yeah.
But there's definitely stuff you can do. There's an enormous amount that you can do to help with that.
Can I just say, regarding follow-up, I was listening, but I took the opportunity to message someone just now who had, I put in a group about me doing Facebook ads, and this person said, oh, that's interesting. So I'd reply saying, oh, if you want to have a chat, DM me. I hadn't heard anything. So I've just DM'd her and I said, I know you responded to me about the ads. If you seriously consider this, should we have a chat? And she's just coming back saying, yes, I'm doing this, this, and this. Let's chat. Can you do today?
Brilliant.
So I was listening to you, but I thought, well, I remember, I'll do it. So that was good.
No, that's brilliant. Catherine, would hate my enthusiasm to be seen as pushy sales? But why would it? Why would your enthusiasm seem as pushiness?
I just sometimes I feel like I am very enthusiastic about what I do, and I hope that people would realize that it's just that it's my enthusiasm for what I do and what it does for people's lives, rather than for anyone to think that it was like a financial gain, I think, behind it. I don't want people to think that that's what motivates me.
That's what's your driver. Yeah, I think, like selling and business, nothing that we do is one-dimensional. Like things can have lots of, it's very layered. Yes, okay, you get paid for doing your work, but ultimately that's not why it is part of the reason, but what motivates us and what drives us isn't necessarily just money. People still work when they have plenty of money. It's because it fulfills us. Success for me is a little bit like happiness. Like you're more likely of getting there if you're helping others to get to where they want to be. And I don't know, it's about your messaging, I guess. It's probably about the language that you speak, but I don't think that enthusiasm to me would ever seem like sales unless you were just like, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, you know?
Yeah.
But you can talk sideways. That's why storytelling is so useful. You know, be like, oh, I'm so delighted. Look how I helped this client. If that's something that would interest you, get in touch. You know, but that's more marketing than conversion. But just be you and enjoy it and not worry too much.
Yeah.
Carol.
What I would say on that, because you are incredibly passionate about what you do, Catherine, you have got, you know, you fizz with energy every time I see you in a meeting, is if people are turned off by that, they may not even be your ideal clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need to apologize for ourselves. You know, we embody our brands because we are our businesses, like, and we don't need to apologize or wait for permission to how we're going to speak. Like, just trial and error, trust, see how it makes you feel. And if you're getting lots of responses being like, I love your energy, then it's good. It's all good, you know.
Yeah, your energy, your passion is so positive, and people just know it's not fake. You just, you know, you just, there's light all around you. You just shine it, and people know that. And if they don't like it, yeah, they're not your ideal client. I think some people you can meet who you just know they're being fake, that they appear really enthusiastic about their product, and you know they're probably just talking from script.
I just wanted to say,
you know, that's why if you're coming from a place of authenticity and from an honest place and from a place of integrity, just don't think you have to worry. Like, you can release that. You just be like, well, I'm not, so even if they think it, they're wrong, you know. Like, but I don't know you very well to know your energy beam, but I just say, just don't worry, you know. Anyway, let me go back into these questions. I hate my enthusiasm. Vulnerability is key. I put myself out there recently and didn't get the response I'd hoped for, and so retreated into my shell for a week or two. It's so natural. Everybody does it. Nobody is immune, you know, nobody. And if they are, then they're cold, and that's not who you want to be, you know. Like, it's important that you're human, and actually when you're retreating, you might be also thinking like, what didn't work, what went wrong, but then equally pat yourself on the back, like, at least I tried, and it's not going to stop me. I'm going to try something else. It's just a place to see where there's room for improvement to go forward. And every success has probably like a litter of miniature failures along the way. We should assume that failure is coming our way hand in hand with success, because it doesn't all work, and that's fine, you know. And with regard to your sales conversion, you will not ever convert them all, ever. So, you know, we've just got to get used to that and just use it as an opportunity to shine a light of it. What could I have done better? Okay, moving forward. And if it stops you in the tracks for longer than a week, then pick yourself up and dust yourself off. But, you know, don't then beat yourself up for having an emotional response to it, because it's allowed, you know, and totally normal. So I'm not good at follow-up. Gail, I had a message from a relatively new client just this morning who had gone quiet and thought she'd gone in terms that she had COVID and had been really unwell. Oops. Yeah. So when you stop communicating with people, you don't actually know what's going on, and reaching out for the sake of reaching out just because you're a kind, nice human doesn't make you a pushy salesperson, you know. And just because, yes, you want to know from a business perspective, doesn't mean that you ultimately don't also want to know as a nice person, you know. Just because you're selling something doesn't mean you're bad, you know. Like, it's it can be, things can be mutually beneficial, and as I say, it's not one-dimensional. You're also trying to foster like a caring relationship with your client here, and to care means that you have to reach out and put yourself out there and ask how people are. And, you know, that's why post-sale relationship building is so important, because after the sale, there's no stress of having to sell anything, but you're still selling yourself, because you're revalidating at every contact point that, yes, you are the right choice for them. So although you're not actively selling a product, you are constantly selling your brand and your ideology or your values or whatever. So it's yeah, it's not a bad thing to reach out to your clients and see how they are. Such great advice with thinking big and the breaking it down. Yeah, Naomi, yeah, I mean, it's important, you know, you just have to know where you want to get to and then work backwards. And when you're thinking about your goal setting or your vision or whatever, I would absolutely put how aside. You can work out how later, you know. Then Sarah, I don't understand the value. That's brilliant. I've just written that on the post-it note. Well, this is fundamental. It's absolutely fundamental to, you know, you need to know what value you'll bring your client, because I heard a nice line the other day, you know, about light bulbs. And they're like, don't sell light bulbs, sell light, you know, don't sell glasses, sell sight. And that's the value. Like, don't sell, oh, you will get 1 hour with me, you will get sales tips, you will get cheat sheets, checklists, whatever. Those are the stepping stones that gets to the transformation. What I'm actually selling is sales confidence, right? That's really ultimately it, you know, like I don't know, we shouldn't just be listing what we're selling, because actually it's the bigger thing that they're buying, the transformation that email sequence will bring their business, and not having to be overwhelmed with tech is like worth paying for, in my opinion.
I think people get confused between selling the features and the benefits.
Massively.
The features is the benefits. Totally
it's because it's easier to recognize the features. You can see the nuts and bolts. Sometimes you can't really see, you know, you've got to take a step back and be like, well, actually, what is it that I sell?
Yeah.
And I always start with that with my clients, because I'm like, what do you actually sell?
Yeah, if I'm helping someone with an email, it's the feature, so that benefit. You've got this so that you can do this.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that you can feel this, so that you can meet this, whatever. Yeah.
It's important. I mean, you could all make a little list of, you know, the value that you bring your clients, or what is it that you actually sell, because it's not always clear, you know. And if we're not clear, how are our clients going to be clear, you know? Yeah, Carol.
Right. I was just going to say that with Sarah, what you did for me was you made me actually enjoy email marketing, which I've been really feeling icky about. So isn't that an amazing accomplishment? And isn't that something that you could sell? Is actually turning it from a chore into something I enjoy doing.
Yeah, and you saying that and knowing that still it doesn't even tell you the steps that Sarah has taken.
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter to anyone, does it? Because you're like, no, I want that feel. I was just, as you guys were talking, I'm thinking about some of the things that, like the big investments that I have made, I didn't even know like what we were doing. And sometimes I think about that and go, oh, why have I just spent all that money? And I literally have no idea. But it was the end goal, it was the feeling, it was the where we were going, and not the how we were getting there.
Yeah.
But that is interesting, because I would get really involved in it'd be tempting to go for the nuts and bolts. Yeah.
The only thing I would add to that is that I nearly stepped into doing a really expensive coaching program last year, and the salesperson, the consultant, was really very clever about, you know, it was a traditional sales call in terms of, you know, selling the benefits, the transformation of it, but it was just something that she just pushed the button too hard and made me want to check up some things. And it was only through doing that I found actually online she'd actually had some really seriously bad reviews, and it made me step back from the whole process. So you can, I think you can oversell that and make it appear really icky to someone, in that sense that they feel they've got to do more checking on you.
Yeah, it is a balancing act, and sometimes we'll be like, oh, I didn't do very well. And often though, it's because we rein ourselves in as opposed to over engineer and oversell. Like we're much more, because the fear of appearing salesy holds us back from even like reaching out and inviting the business. I think none of us are gonna really jump from where we are now into being like crazy pushy, like drill, like convince. I would always be like, be just compelling, convey, you know, understand what you're selling. And like Henriette will probably say, you know, like your client attraction is totally linked to how you sell, because ultimately it is your client's decision to work with you. You know, you don't have to pinpoint them, like pin them down, because the right people will buy into you, but ultimately you also have to meet them then and take them to that point of decision.
Yeah, I honestly agree with that. I had a mentor actually that said to me, people will only buy from you once they feel understood, not if you feel understood. Yeah. And that has taught me a very valuable lesson all along. Yeah,
we should listen, and we should ask probing questions, and we should be interested in our clients, you know, like, why do they need to change their style? You know, what is it they're trying to achieve? What do they want to feel like? You know, but any other questions? Do you want to talk about the dangers of discounting? Will we finished?
Yeah, absolutely. Go into the dangers of discounting, and then if we've got, I feel like this discussion as we are set up at the moment is working very well, but if we want to go into breakout rooms, then we can absolutely do that.
So just maybe make a list. So I've got the answers for you, so you can't get it wrong. But like, what does it mean to you? Does dangers of discounting mean anything to you? Are you just like, what's she on about? Or do you mean?
Absolutely. To me, it means lots of things. It means that you're not valuing yourself is one of the primary things on that, and you're getting into a price war with, you know, maybe you don't, you're not confident about what you're selling, and maybe one of your competitors is selling a similar service, because let's face it, you know, everybody does a similar thing to what we do, but it's just that we all have a unique approach to it, and that you feel that you have to price match it or get down to that. And again, it comes down to confidence. But then what I have found, if ever I've done that, which I did do a bit, is that I then resent the client.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So it's not actually great to discount, because then you don't want to do the work for them as much as you want to for your high value clients. And then you're putting yourselves at risk of disappointing them, because you don't ultimately want to do it for them, you know, and you feel a little bit aggrieved that they got it at a discount price, and also that the other people, you know, there's a fairness, is there?
And on the flip side to that, often if they have not invested as much in it financially, they're not necessarily invested as much in it, like, personally themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And why is that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And that's why, you know, doing freebie stuff, I mean, you have to give so much content, put so much content out there. I appreciate that and value to, but doing freebie classes and stuff like that can backfire on you, because people don't kind of show up or don't take enough interest, because they're not committed to it, because they haven't invested anything personally.
I mean, like you heard me say earlier in my pitch, I discounted my new product, but the reason I've done that is because it's brand new, and I know there are probably some tweaks to make, and the first few people will help me with that, but it will soon go up to the proper price. And I'm going to be launching a membership in September, and I will have founding members price again, because the paint will still be drying on the walls of the membership, and they can help me form how the membership will go going forward, because they are founding members. But after that, it will go to a full price. But that's the only time I'll discount. I might add a bonus. It might be my full price and a bonus, if it's, you know, special occasion or something. But
I mean, I agree completely with that strategy though, and I would do that myself. And in fact, I might want to talk to you, because I'm also, are you on Tribe at the minute? Are you on the Tribe experience at the minute?
Yes.
Ah, so am I. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. So I'm also going to be creating, mine's going to be called the Elevate Circle, and it will be like a place for people to come have this type of discussion, basically, for but I will definitely have a family.
Oh, well, there's
price.
definitely stuff we can do together.
Yeah, fab. Yeah, but yeah, done well. Discounting is it can be incredibly powerful and very strategic, but to drop your price at every moment that people say something or another, there are lots of points. And can anybody think of anything else? Margaret, you've been very quiet.
Yeah, sorry, I did try earlier just to say when Catherine was talking about, so slightly going off the discounting just for a second, I did try to say earlier, because I'm a member of the Vitality Rooms, and Catherine's enthusiasm and the value that we get is it's definitely not being pushy or anything. We know you're authentic, it's clear. So yeah, so it's the giving away of free things. I tend to have to be careful if, you know, because giving away samples, we always give away free samples for people to try, and it's a case of someone saying, oh, well, I need some more free samples, and you're sort of thinking, hang on a minute, you know, most people, they've experienced it, they know it works, so they're just trying to get more things for free, and they're never going to actually want to invest in the product that helps their health. And so yeah, it's how much free stuff we give away, and being very careful about that. And I noticed I have a friend, she used to do massage, and she'd gone with the WOW voucher thing, and she noticed that all the customers she had through those vouchers never actually came back to as a regular paying client.
What's the value of full price if you've had it for half price? Right, well, I only saw the value at half price.
Yeah, so it can be quite a minefield, this discounting.
Yeah, anybody else?
Yeah, I discount for more than one child in a family.
Oh yeah, that's good though. Yeah.
So I have a full price for the evaluation and assessment at the beginning, and I always write on the introductory letter a sibling price. And then if I'm working with one child, then a teaching session costs this much. If I'm working with two children, then it's a 5% reduction, because once you reduce, it's really hard to put your price up. I have not increased my prices because people think teacher, they think tutor, and they think I'm really expensive as a tutor. But actually, I'm now beginning to feel that I need to put my prices up because I'm much more than that. Yeah. And yes, it's already expensive compared with tutors, but some tutors are charging more than me now.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. When you discount, sometimes I learned that lesson about resenting the client, because I thought, I'm doing all this work, and you know, and some of the children I work with are quite tough when I start with them. But to turn that around takes a lot of work and a lot of time. So yeah, I don't like discounting at all. But yeah.
You know, you've just said you're expensive, but I'm not sure, like, expensive is a word to say that you're paying over the odds for something, but actually it might still be great value and just cost a lot of money, you know, like you can still, you know, our big ticket items are not expensive. They are providing an inordinate amount of value to our clients. You know, it's about the language that we speak to ourselves, and how we portray that is important as well.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, I've got clients that have been with me for 10 or more years with different children, and they've been paying this high ticket price all that time. Yeah. And so I find it difficult to increase that price now because they're so used to that. And every now and again, they obviously understand money better than me. I'm a teacher, not a financial person, but they will say, we love you because of what you do, you know, but it is expensive. And so they remind me that way, which I find very difficult.
Yeah, this is a big topic. If you want to talk to me about it separately, by all means get in touch, because pricing is it's a big topic and it's an important topic, and you don't have to keep your prices the same forever and ever. You don't, you know. Yeah, Henriette.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention something. I personally don't discount at all because, you know, in the value that I'm offering, and same with me. When I started out, I wanted to give discounts to every person in order to just get clients, which was obviously the biggest mistake I made. But I recently contacted a VA, and I really decided that I was already going to sign up with her. She was great at what she was doing. And then we got the conversation going. We got through the conversation, and she's like, okay, so this is my prices, but I'll give you £100 discount, you know, if you really want to start off. And I was like, no. You're charging what you're worth. You don't need to give me £100 discount, because it looked a little bit desperate almost in a sense. So I do find that people really, when you have a conversation, they're like, but I'll give you this much discount. That's a little bit of desperation coming through, and you instantly feel that as well. So for me, discount is kind of like people being desperate just to get you to sign up, and you don't want that energy to pass across.
No, because it undermines your brand.
Exactly.
Can I ask, going back to with Gail, when she was talking about the difference between her like not being a tutor, do you start to address that sort of even before the conversation? And if you do, is it things like social media and email marketing, or is it stuff that you would send to them specifically, or is that going to be in the sort of sales conversation? When's the best place to start to address?
When I talk to them. I don't like it when people say, I'm looking for a maths tutor, how much do you charge? And if I get that feeling, that vibe that this isn't going to be a viable client for me, I tell them I charge twice as much as I actually charge, and they go away. Because I don't want to deal with somebody who's just looking for a maths tutor. If they say, my child's got an issue with maths and I'd like to know what you can do and how much it costs, I'll say, why don't we have a chat? And then you can, and often the symptom is maths, but that's not what the issue is. And so then when they realize that I might actually be able to get to the issue, and that will resolve the maths, then they can see that I'm much more than a tutor, because a tutor will just come and teach maths. I take the child apart and put it back together. So, yeah.
Any other dangers to this kind of, I mean, do you want me to share my screen for a minute? No, can you see? So this is my freebie, I guess. I'm always like, what's it called? I'm not really like very e-commerce-y thing. But anyway, these are my 5 dangers of discounting. And, you know, it can undermine your sales process. It can undermine the value that you bring long term. Discounting makes your customers focus on the cost and not on the value. So if we focus on price, so will our clients. If we focus on transformation and value, so will our clients. And you don't want to be the cheapest. The cheapest is rubbish. It's always rubbish. Like, how many times have you regretted buying something because it was cheap? That is not a good, it's not a good reason to buy something. Discounting can also delay the sale. So if you're constantly having sales, people will wait. They'll be like, right, I'm going to hang fire until there's a sale on. Your ideal customer needs what you offer and you're worth paying for. And yeah, focus on your ideal customer and not the bargain hunters. And that's it in summary. I feel like that was very rushed, but I don't have much time. So yeah, there's more to it. I think there's the chat here. Yeah, exactly. Sarah. I'm really guilty of buying lots of things cheap and regretting it eternally, especially jeans, Carol, frankly. But that's stopped now.
Good.
I'm actually wearing a pair of jeans that I've had for 6 years, and I cut off the legs today. Well, I cut off the legs last week, so now I've got shorts.
Fantastic. Well done, you. you want a good price, you buy second hand anyway. Buy designer jeans second hand. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. But if anybody wants that 5 dangers of discounted document, you just sign up to my newsletter on the website. But that's not, I mean, I can send it to you anyway if you like. That seems like a really like, oh my God, I'm just sounding like a salesperson, you know. Like, God. But I'm actually just offering it you. It's there if you want it. But I hope that talk was helpful. I thought you had so many good points and ideas, and yeah, everything.
It was brilliant. Brilliant, Enfys. I really enjoyed it. I always like listening to you talking, and I would recommend jumping over to Enfys' Business Lounge group on Facebook. It's good, really good.
Oh, thanks, Carol.
Oh, thank you. That was lovely. And I sometimes it's a bit disappointing when there are not so many people on, but actually the value that we get from being able to talk in the smaller groups is just perfect.
Less is more.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was wonderful. Are there any other questions before we round everything off? That'd be lovely. I will. I loved that that discounting can delay the sale is really interesting. I love that. So I will definitely.
Yeah, it can do all sorts of inadvertent things, really. And five points is not all of them. It's just an idea. Look, you can download it there. Might speak to you, Sarah. I need a new freebie. I needed a lot of things with regard to email sequencing, and I want to talk to you anyway, generally, about all the things. But yeah, what a joy to come and talk to you at Mums UnLtd, and maybe I'll come back. That's
amazing. Thank you so much. That really was. I completely agree, Sarah. That was one of the most useful talks that we have had, and and I think the smaller group makes it even more personal to us all. So that's really.
If you could write down that in the testimonial, that was one of the most useful talks we've had. That would make my day.
I'm loving it
Across the universe.
Leading by example. Get that testimonial in.
Yeah. Well, in fact, yeah, I would. Yeah. Can I ask you to do that? I'll send you my feedback link here. Look, and I've never done that before, but as we're on it, that's my feedback link there. If anybody wants to fill it in, I would be seriously delighted. I would love that very much. And
I'm loving that. Yeah. That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Oh, lovely to have you all. I will hopefully one day you can actually all come down to sunny Whitstable, and I will have the sun out, and we'll go down to the beach and we'll have chips and ice cream, because that's pretty much what we do down here. Oh dear. Next meeting for Mums UnLtd is next week, isn't it? I thought I had it in my I've got.
Well, Harpendon's next Thursday. That's on the 24th. I don't know whether there's any.
Is Hemel on Tuesday? Is that Hemel?
No, it's on the following. I think it's on the 29th, because I can't go to that one.
And there's one on the 25th as well. I'm not sure which one that one is. So yeah, lots.
Friday. Is there one on a Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bizarre. I didn't. Yeah, not normally. One's on Friday. And there's one next, and the one following Tuesday I've got in my diary as well. So I will look forward to seeing you all then. And yeah, come back to Whitstable virtually anytime you like. And have a lovely rest of your day and rest of your week. I don't think I've forgotten anything. It was fabulous to see you all.
Yeah, thanks very much for hosting.
Lovely seeing you. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
You put all your stuff in the chat and I'll save it. Just come in, Sarah. Do I want to stop cloud recording? Yeah.